Fellas, we gotta talk. A lot of men seem to think that Donald Trump is some kind of tough guy. He's not. I mean, look at him. He wears more makeup than Dolly Parton. He whines like a baby. The guy's a...
In this one, we're going to have a look at Matt Walsh completely destroying Dave Bautista. You might know him as Drax from the Guardian of the Galaxy movies, or he was, I think he just went by Bautista in the WWF wrestling or whatever it's called nowadays. But Dave Bautista made an ad trying to help Kamala Harris win this election. And if you have that image in your head of how big and muscular Drax is in that movie Guardian of the Galaxy, or if you just know Bautista from the past, you know that this guy is huge. He's completely ripped, but something has happened to him over the last year. And I don't know if he's had like some kind of health issue or if it's intentional, but he's moving closer and closer to that look of having a, you know, white guy for Kamala look. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, let's just go ahead and have a look here.
Jimmy Kimmel is a rather historic figure in entertainment. His show has been on the air for over 20 years, and yet throughout the entire run, he has never once told a funny joke, which is an unprecedented streak, I think. Sure, other comedy shows have gone decades without producing a single funny scene or moment or even line. The Simpsons, for example, hasn't been funny since Bill Clinton's first term in office. SNL went at least 15 years without being funny, but they've ruined the streak recently by actually putting out 1 or 2, sometimes even 3 or 4 amusing sketches per episode. They've been doing that for a year or 2 now, which is pretty remarkable. But what sets Jimmy Kimmel Live apart is that it has been horrifically unfunny through its whole existence. It didn't fall off like The Simpsons or The Office or Seinfeld or South Park. It was never on to begin with. It has been dull and unfunny from the start. And that streak shows no signs of ending, especially considering Kimmel's episode last week that featured this Kamala Harris campaign ad vaguely disguised as a comedy skit. And the bit here is that somebody is insulting Donald Trump. That's the height of comedy, according to Jimmy Kimmel. The insults don't have to be clever or witty or actually funny. There doesn't have to be a joke involved. As long as the insults are being lobbed at Trump, then they automatically count as funny. And in this case, it is the actor Dave Bautista who is flinging the insults. Let's check it out.
Fellas, we gotta talk. A lot of men seem to think that Donald Trump is some kind of tough guy. He's not. I mean, look at him. He wears more makeup than Dolly Parton. He whines like a baby. The guy's afraid of birds. Donald Trump had his daddy pay a doctor to say his Will feet hurt so he could dodge the draft. Look at that gut, like a garbage bag full of buttermilk. He sells imaginary baseball cards pretending to be a cowboy fireman. Guy's barely strong enough to hold an umbrella. I mean, look how he drinks water. Like a little pink chickadee. He's got jugs, big ones, like Dolly Parton. He cheats at golf. He creeps around beauty pageant dressing rooms. You know that little dance he does? He looks like he's a pair of giraffes. He's moody, he pouts, he throws tantrums.
No, get those lights off!
He acts like a 5-year-old behind the wheel of a truck. He bends over for Putin. He's cattier on social media than a middle school bean girl. The guy needs help walking downhill. Almost there, Grandma. And this November, let's stop kidding ourselves. Donald Trump is afraid of rain, of dogs, of windmills.
So you get the idea. Now, there are 2 problems here. And the first is that Dave Bautista is an actor. And before he became an actor, he was a professional wrestler. So he's been pretending to fight for his whole career. Bautista is prolific at make-believe. He's very good at pretending to be a tough guy. Now, it's true that he could certainly beat Trump in an arm wrestling contest. You have an advantage when you take steroids. Not that I would ever accuse a professional wrestler of taking steroids. It's not like literally all of them are. I'm just making a general comment unrelated to the topic at hand. Anyway, Bautista has more muscle mass than Donald Trump, but only one of those guys has actually been shot in the head in real life. and then stood up and pumped his fist in the air like a badass. Okay, only one of those guys in real life has stared his own mortality in the face twice and remained totally unfazed by it. Like, shockingly unfazed.
And before Matt Walsh continues, I want to say a couple things about the videos they showed when Bautista was talking junk on Trump. He talked crap on Trump for drinking water. Well, that all spawned from a day where Donald Trump, when he was president, I believe he saluted like 700, or I can't remember the amount of the number, but he stood there like all day, like not all day, okay, for hours, saluted one at a time all these individuals from the military, and I believe he shook their hand, and he was fatigued, so he he didn't want to drop the water, so he took a drink. And that was one of those little instances, but they showed like 5 or 6 where Trump was drinking with 2 hands. Well, this is how you know the left doesn't have a sense of humor. And Trump does. The rest of those little clips was Trump making fun of himself and explaining what happened. And it's funny how the left wants to conflate that into Trump being weak, when the reality is he was a 70-year-old-ish man at the time, and he did something that a lot of people can't do, which was stand there all day and salute these guys. The little clip where they showed him walking down the ramp gingerly, that was because he had on shoes that were really they were slickery, right? And it was a smooth surface, and he just didn't want to fall. It makes sense to me. Oh yeah, and he says that Trump was scared of birds. It was a giant bald eagle in his face. Like, you should be a little intimidated and scared with a giant bald eagle within arm's length of you, especially if it makes a move. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's normal. So, trying to make Trump look weak with such an exaggerated attempt is completely ridiculous. It's lying to the public. It's the only thing that Democrats can really do. And Matt Walsh is right there. I mean, Trump literally got shot in the ear and stood up and pumped his fist. They want to say Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, but he's the one that took a bullet for democracy, right? I don't know. Let's just continue here with Matt.
Trump is actually doing the real tough guy stuff that Bautista pretends to do. Trump was covered in real blood. For Bautista, in his movies, it's fake blood. Trump had real bullets flying at him. Bautista, on the other hand, has been repeatedly shot by CGI effects. So the guy who's been pretend shot doesn't get to puff out his chest and act manlier than the guy who's been real shot, okay? That's not how it works. Let me tell you about a looming threat to our constitutional republic that the mainstream media won't cover. The radical left is plotting a Supreme Court coup.
Okay, so that was pretty much the rest of what Matt Walsh had to say about it. The only thing that I'll add is when it came to James Gunn, who was the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, getting kicked off of the program, getting kicked off from being the director, being fired, right? Because he had some allegations about, that had to do with the young ones, we'll just say. Dave Bautista was one of these people that was ready to walk off the set and not play the role of Drax ever again until James Gunn was brought back. So that should also tell you a little bit about what Dave Bautista is willing to fight for versus what he's willing to fight against, which, is not a surprise when you think about Hollywood as a whole and how, everything goes up there, right? I wouldn't be surprised to find out that Bautista was one of these guys at a Diddy party, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, with that, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, and you're America First, you're in the right place. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video. All those 3 things really help out. And I also wanted to let you know that on Saturdays, I go live for the Jar Openers podcast. Atlas Thugged, my co-host, and we talk for a couple hours. I'd love to see you guys there and have a conversation with you. So anyways, that's Saturdays at 8 p.m. We do that every Saturday. And with that, I'll either see you there or I'll see you guys in the next video.